This community is not just core.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the PerformHappy Podcast. I am so excited today to be hanging out with somebody who has the mindset I wish I could implant in all gymnasts. And that has gotten her really far in the sport, and she's so fun to watch. Avery Neff, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So I got to meet you in person this summer at Utah camp. There was a moment that it told me everything about you. When I do a mental training session, I believe how you do anything is how you do everything. And so I have athletes do this sort of mental challenge. And so Avery was, helping out and just in the room with the girls. And she's like, I want to try it. Hold on, let me try. And so she's like, I want to do. And so she goes, she does it, and she nails it. I could see on you that you have such a growth mindset and this hunger for challenge that you could not sit there and watch other people do a challenge and not also try it. Is that how you've always been?
Exactly. Yeah, I've always been that way, especially growing up with two older brothers. I always needed to somehow try to beat them in any way, shape, or form.
So you're the little sister and you have these two brothers you're always keeping up with?
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess I better tell people if they've been living under a rock and they don't know who you are. Avery is now competing for Utah, just starting sophomore year, and she was the #1 recruit in the country 2024. Every single gymnastics program wanted you. 8-time national champion, regional all-around vault champion, just like this girl knows how to win. And so, okay, is that the answer? Like everyone needs two older brothers? Or is there more to it that kind of gets you into this like winning mindset?
Yeah, I mean, definitely my family pushed me in a lot of ways, but I feel like it was kind of just instilled in me that I wasn't going to get handouts in life. So I had to figure out a way that I was going to earn it myself. And honestly, when I first started gymnastics, I was awful. My coaches didn't like me because I just would try anything. I had no form. I just wanted to just try as many things. I didn't really have a fear. So that did work out in some ways, but also was really hard for me in some ways when starting gymnastics because unlike doing lots of skills, you still have to have form. And so that took a long time for me to figure out how to really dial in my form and focus on the little details. But my coaches helped me a lot with that. And my head coach, Ryan Kirkham at Olympus, he worked with me really well. We had this really strong connection and bond that he kind of just understood me and he knew how to push me in the right ways. A lot of girls can have like soft feelings and stuff like that. And that's so realistic. Most people do. I just don't get offended by it's very, very hard to offend me or to hurt my feelings and stuff like that. Not saying that I don't ever, but everybody does. But I took when he told me, oh, like you can't do that skill. You're not good enough. I was like, okay, I'll show you. I will show you and I'll prove it to you that I can. And so I just kind of took that with every day. Like he knew how to push me in the right ways. Like, oh no, you can't do this today. I'll show you. Like I don't feel 100% today, but I'm still going to do it when I'm at my 40%. That way, when I'm at my 100%, it's like a whole new person, if that even makes sense.
Yes. Okay, so I see people that are like, "Oh, you're so talented," or "Oh, you're so tough," or "You're so confident," or so I love to hear that first of all, you were the floppy, sloppy gymnast who just would chuck stuff. That's my little brother. He would just like, "Okay, coach, I'll try," and elbows everywhere and ankles and everyone goes, "Oh my God, how did you land that?" That was crazy. Do you feel like for somebody who isn't as willing to try or is maybe a little bit more fearful, is that something that can be built kind of like you have created your own talent in life?
I definitely think it is something that is reachable. You just have to genuinely work on it yourself. I had this experience that I didn't really think was like a big deal, but it was actually at one of the Utah camps. And there was this little girl that was from my gym, and I was working with her on beam. She was really scared of her aerial on the beam, and she was doing it on just like the block beam. So it was level like the floor, just like a little beam. And she was making them, and I just like look over at her and I'm like pointing to the high beam, and she's just like, what? Like, you're crazy. I'm like, you're making it. There's nothing to be scared about. You're making it perfectly on a beam. You're not even touching these blocks on the side. Like, there is simply no difference to going to the high beam. Yes, it may be scarier, but ultimately, what's the worst that's going to happen? You get a little raspberry on your leg and it goes off in a few days, as opposed to getting the skill, learning the skill, and then having it for all these years to come. There's so much greater than there is, I guess, the worst that can happen in the situation. And ultimately she did it on the high beam. And I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but her mom was like, this is huge. I'm really close with her mom and then her other daughter too. And her mom was like, thank you so much for helping her. Like, she's really afraid of these things. And I just didn't really she didn't really express to me that she was that nervous as her mom says she was. But I'm just the type of person that's just like, you're making it perfectly. Why can't you do it here? You're ultimately are doing the exact same skill. You just have to get past the mental state of being scared of it and just realizing, okay, my body has done this 1,000 times over and over and over again on this little beam. And I've made it that many times. Once I go up to the high beam, I'm not going to change it at all. My body knows exactly what it's doing.
Well, it sounds like you're just leaning into the facts instead of the feelings.
Yes.
Because the feelings, they're not usually helpful when it
Mhm.
comes to, high level gymnastics. When you're saying something like, oh, feels off or it feels weird or it feels scary, it means that you're not rooted in the technique. Could feel
saying-
like push and kick, right? Not like
Yes.
scared.
Yes. Now, I'm not saying I never get those feelings because I definitely do get those feelings and it's a battle still with myself. I'm actually battling it right now. Mentally, I'm kind of freaking out myself just with floor and my ankles. I'm kind of freaking myself out right now. So I'm mentally battling that situation and just being confident in my body again, doing a floor routine or doing a floor pass. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I don't get nervous over these things or that I don't fear these things, because that's not true. But I have had years to figure out how to overcome those.
Yes. Well, that's what I love so much about you is that you're not just this person who came into the world with magic fairy dust of talent, hard work, and a great attitude. It's like, you actually worked for every single thing that you have, which means every little girl out there who's like a sloppy, floppy level 3 can want their face on a billboard in Utah and
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Okay, let's go back to your injury. So you come out freshman year as the girl to watch and was right in the beginning of season, you sprained both ankles on a floor routine. Everyone thinks your season's done. What was your initial reaction?
I definitely thought my season was over too. I had already started thinking about, should I redshirt? Should I do these things? And Carly and my parents were like, no, let's just wait it out. Let's see how your recovery's going first. And so I was already kind of just down about it because I'm I'm not coming back. I'm learning how to re-walk. I'm learning how to walk right now. I'm in this Hydro Works pool walking on a little water treadmill and I can't even walk properly on that. And I'm in there for 2 to 3 hours a day straight and I still can't figure out how to walk. I'm in an old lady walker walking around from my dorm to the Sorensen, which is our athletic training room. That's all I do every day. I can't walk to classes. That's too far for me. There's no way I'm coming back more or less for season. That's just crazy. And then, I'm doing my workouts and stuff, but I feel like externally I thought that and I tell people I'm probably not going to be done, but internally I feel like I never really took that upon me. Me saying these thoughts I'm probably not going to be able to come back, my injury was bad. I don't ever really think I took that to heart. And my athletic trainer, he's my best friend. We understand each other. And so he was just you can come back if you want to. You just actually have to put your mind to it. And that's exactly how my dad said it too. And I just kind of forgot that oh yeah, if I put my mind to it, I can genuinely do it. Anything's possible. So then days go by and I'm just oh, I'm not really making any progress. Been 3 days, 4 days since my injury. I'm not making any progress. And he's like, did you think it was going to be overnight? Did you think you were going to be in a lineup overnight? And I was like, well, yeah, kind of. Honestly, I wish I was. But he was like, no, it's going to take a little bit. But I think the reason why it was so hard on me at first is because we had 3 meets all back to back in the same week. So it was we had the meet the night before or something that I got hurt. And then we had Best of Utah Monday. So we had the meet Friday night, Best of Utah Monday, and then we had against BYU Friday. And so I was I've already missed 3 meets this season and I'm still in a walker. And then I think the next week we went to West Virginia and I was still kind of in my walker And my athletic trainer was like, "You've made a lot of progress." And I was like, "Have I?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can walk practically now. Like, you have help with your walker. You just get a little bit tired. Your ankles get a little bit tired as more you walk. But while we travel to West Virginia, you're not allowed to use your walker. We're not bringing it." And I was like, "What? I cannot make it through the airport without my walker. And that long of a plane ride, my feet are going to swell," which they were huge after the airplane ride. But he was like, "No, you'll be okay. Like, I promise, like, I wouldn't do it if you weren't safe. You are safe. You'll be okay. Everything will be okay. I'm right here. All the coaches are right here. You're going to be okay." And honestly, that's what I think mentally pushed me, that I was like, okay, I can be okay. I will get it. I will get through this. And also, there was one day that I was having a really hard day at gym, and I was just doing little drills. And I'm not a big fan of drills, even though I know how much they help me. I know. I'm the type of kid that's so eager. I just like to just do the skills and get them done. So I was doing my drills, and I got super down on myself, and I kind of just started crying, like over in the corner on ball. And I just was like, "This is awful. I've never been really out. And if I have, it was in the summer when it wasn't like really, it was a broken foot. Like, it wasn't anything horrible. I wasn't missing during season." And Carly came up to me and she was like, "What's going on?" And Carly's my head coach, by the way. But she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, I'm not making any progress. Like, this is not worth it for me. I don't think I'm actually going to get back." And she was like, have you made a goal for yourself to get back?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really know." She was like, "You need to set a week that you want to come back and make that your tangible goal to get back to." And this is going to sound so stupid to a lot of people, but we had this special Leo for alumni night. We wore it twice, but I didn't know at the time. I thought it was only alumni night. And it has the 50 on the back for 50 years of Utah Gymnastics, and then our last name on the back of the Leo. And I was so jealous that I wasn't going to be able to wear it. I was like, "I'm never going to be able to wear this Leo. I have this Leo, and I'm never going to be able to wear it and compete in it." And Carly was like, "There you go. There's your goal. That's your goal, is to wear that Leo." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to try and get back." So progression starts. Days go by. I'm like, "Zeb, I think I'm ready to start doing bars." He's like, "I think you are too. I think you're ready." And so I start doing little swings on bars. And I don't know if you've ever had a sprained ankle or a broken foot and you'd swing on bars. It kind of hurt because it'd pull the pressure against your foot, but I didn't feel any pain. Zeb was like, the worst part was squatting onto the bar. It was where my feet touched the bar. So I had him tape my ankles really thick, really tight, and squatting on was a little bit hard. And so we just took it slowly. Sometimes my coach Jimmy would help me get up on and stuff like that, where I could get my skills done and get some gingers going where I wasn't really on my feet at all, get some bails going where I was safe. A coach standing there. So Jimmy was spotting my bail, spotting really everything just to make sure, just in case. And then it's probably 2 days of bars, and I was like, "I want to do a dismount." And Jimmy's like, "You're not doing a dismount. You are not doing a dismount right now." Because I still didn't have like really range of motion in my ankle at all. And then I was like, "No, I think I'm ready. I know my body. I think I'm ready." He's like, "No." And I was like, "Zeb, please let me do a dismount." He's like, "You get one dismount and see how it feels." And the first dismount was not bad. And we had to dial it back from the full out to the double A just because it's a little bit safer for that. And so I did the double A, and the first one didn't really hurt that bad because I just over rotated a ton because, one, I was used to the full out, and two, I didn't really want to land. So I just over rotated it. And I was like, "Zeb, it didn't hurt at all. Let me do another one." I do another one, and I like tried to land, and I was like, "Okay, that was a lot of pain." So we just go day by day, and they're like, "How do they feel now after that day?" And I'm like, "Oh, they don't hurt. It was just a sudden stinging reaction, but they're okay now." And they're like, "Okay, you get one a day. You get one a day. I don't care how it is, if it's horrible, if it's good, whatever, you get one a day." And then obviously we're doing tons and tons of rehab every day. Morning before practice, I'm doing like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, if just straight rehab, trying to get my range of motion back, tons of massages to get the fluid out of my ankles because they're still like that big at the time. And then the first meet comes around, or I guess alumni meet, and I couldn't really run around like the girls did, so I'm just kind of sitting on the side, kind of doing some kicks, but I couldn't really. And I start warming up, and my dismount started to hurt a little bit, and he's like, "You don't have to do it." And I was like, no, I'm going to do this just for myself because I'm healthy enough. It might hurt, but Zeb approved that it's not going to do any more damage. So now I'm just battling the mental side of, is it this much pain for me to handle, or is it okay? And the warm up, that one did hurt my ankles, but once I got in the meet and I stuck my first one and I was like I'm fine. It's not hurting. The one in the meet probably did hurt a little bit, but I don't remember it. And pain is temporary. So that's just kind of my thought process. I'll be okay. If it's approved that I'm going to be okay and that there's not going to be more damage, then so be it. I'll do it. So that was kind of my mental process on how to get back. And then slowly I just wanted to get more back into it, more events back going and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I heard Zeb's perspective, your trainer, on your recovery, and he said he had never seen somebody work that hard to come back from an injury in his career. He has not seen anyone put that much time, that much effort, that much focus into coming back. And some people were like, they're rushing her back. This is crazy that they're putting her through this. And he's like, no, she earned it. She did what she needed to do. And then you've got medical clearance. And that's the key. I think there's a lot of athletes out there that are like, I'm so tough, I'm going to just tough it out. And then it kills their season later because they're even worse off.
Yeah.
So there is this balance that you were able to walk with your medical professionals, with your desire to get out there and do what you can without damaging yourself. I mean, there is that fine line that goes to show an injury does not have to keep you stuck if you're doing absolutely everything you can do to get back.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring.
So Dr. Aoki and Dr. Pala are doctors and physicians, and Zeb, they were all kind of talking together, trying to come up with things to help me. And I did so many different things. And then ultimately Zeb was like, this is your thing. If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel confident, we don't have to do it. He wanted just to make sure that I felt confident was the main thing, because when you don't feel confident, I feel like that's when mistakes happen and that's when the injuries happen. So he just wanted to make sure that I felt confident in myself and to do these skills. And he still does that just to make sure if I'm freaking out a little bit on the floor, he just wants to make sure that I'm okay. But once I got the approval from the doctors and staff saying it's not going to get worse, and Dr. Nixon, then I kind of started to just be like, oh, now that everybody else says it's not going to get worse and it's just going to slowly heal, this battle isn't with anybody else now. It's truly myself and if I want them to heal. And I truly think the brain is such a powerful tool that your brain can heal your body. Truly, truly. I know that sounds crazy, but I think your brain can heal your body from the inside out. And I think just me telling myself every day, I'm going to get back for this meet. I'm going to get back and I'm going to work harder than anybody else can because I missed this long of season. I'm going to get back was my breakthrough of like, yeah, I can do hard things. And I think that first bar routine was just a testament to myself of I can do hard things. And when it doesn't feel tangible and it doesn't feel that I can do these things, I prove myself it time and time again.
Yes. So you sound to me like a really visual person, that you have these images in your mind of what's going to happen and then you make it happen. Like you see yourself in the leotard. You see yourself as a red rock when you're a little girl. You see yourself. Is that what kind of motivates you, or is there more to it?
I'd say that like motivates me. I guess I've never thought about it that way, but yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't say that I ultimately visualize myself right there on the podium, but when I was in 7th and 8th grade, me and my dad would talk to each other and we'd be like, I'm going to be a national champion and I'm going to win Nastia Cup. Now, some of those things like Nastia Cup didn't happen until I was a junior in high school, but I think when you say it, it becomes reality. And so I'd say it over and over again. And then it started to become reality. And I think that that's truly, truly something that can happen if you truly believe it yourself. You just have to convince yourself you can do it.
Well, and I think you don't even have to believe it at first. You just have to keep saying it.
Yes. That's the thing. So we've been talking about last year at Utah. I was like, we're going to be national champions. And I think in past years, sometimes some people were a little bit scared to say that because they didn't want to come across cocky, or they didn't want to seem that they were, out of reach and stuff like that, or to disappoint the team and themselves if they don't get it. But I was like, the only people that we're disappointing is ourselves by not saying it. Because what goal are we really trying to accomplish at the end of the day? just to get a 198. Like, I would rather win a national championship than get these hit 4 for 4. Everybody hit 4 for 4. I would way rather win nationals than as a team than just do those small little things. And I think for some people, small goals leading up to the big goal is a good thing. But for me, I need one goal that sometimes seems like it's miles away and that I'm not even close to that goal for me to push myself to get closer and closer to that goal, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And there are studies that show you get what you expect.
Mm.
So even just to use Utah as an example, there's this story within the organization of this team always makes it to nationals, but hasn't won in 30 years. And I think so many people are like, oh, they're going to get there. Like, even when I was watching NCAA nationals last year, my girls are like, who are we rooting for? And I'm like, well, Utah, we love. They're probably my fave. And they always get to there, but they might not win. So we probably should just root for Oklahoma because that's who wins. It's like, I'm not the only person who has that story of
Yeah.
Utah, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the Cubs don't win the World Series or whatever. It's like there's this sort of story that goes along with yourself. Like, some girls are like, I always get injured, or I'm so scared, or we never win, or we get so close. And it's so powerful that it can absolutely change your reality. So if you guys decided we are national champions, none of this falling short business, or if the girl out there who's always injured is like, I am always healing. I am always bouncing back. This is what I'm after. This is when I'll be back. This is what's going to happen. If you start to focus on what you do want instead of what the status quo is,
Exactly.
you can change everything. I mean, you are such an example of that. So, okay, did this come from your dad? Like, who gave you this concept of, like, why not dream big?
Yeah, I think it was definitely my dad. My dad is a thrill seeker. He always grew up doing like motorsports. So he always rode motocross, so dirt bikes, razors, snowmobiling, just anything like that. He started Nitro Circus, which is like a motocross thing when I was a little kid. So we kind of grew up around those crazy thrill seekers and stuff like that. And my brothers are too. They're crazy thrill seekers too. They love doing anything and everything crazy, which it scares my mom to death. But so I just kind of grew up around that, and I'd watch my brothers be so fearless too, and my dad being fearless and his friends being fearless. And when you watch somebody do that, I feel like it's like, wow, that is so cool. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. And I think my dad just kind of instilled in us, well, why can't you? There's no one or nothing stopping you. Why can't you do that? These people that are doing triple backflips off of a snowboard, why can't you do that? You can ride a snowboard. So what's stopping you from doing a triple backflip? Now, my brothers have tried things like that and have gotten hurt. And I was a little bit more of the tamer one in that aspects. But gymnastics wise, he was like, you can do all these skills. So why can't you do this? And why can't you do this? If you're a state champion, why can't you be a regional champion? If you can win regionals, why can't you win nationals? And I just never really doubted that ever. And he just really, really instilled us that hard work beats talent, and we're not given anything on a silver platter. I've never been really given anything in my life. I was not naturally gifted as a gymnast. I had to work very hard, and finally, thankfully, I finally found that click of why I was there every day and loved it, because there were definitely times where I hated gymnastics and I wanted to quit, as every gymnast has. And I wanted to just a normal life, just to hang out with my school friends, come home from school. But it gets old. It gets a little bit boring for me. I'm just very much a thrill seeker. I need something to get my energy out through the day. I'm very ADD. I need to get doing something every day. And that was my safe space for me to just go and spew that out and just kind of express myself in gymnastics, I guess. And I grew up from a gym that was so supportive of me that if I wanted to try a skill, I was allowed to try these skills if I was safe. But I was allowed to try these skills because I felt so confident in myself that I could make it, even though they were like, oh, well, you don't have a toe on. I'm like, that's okay. I know the first part, so I can do a ray. My coach was like, you don't have a toe on, toe off. I'm like, yeah, but I know I can make a ray. And he was like, that's not the basics of the skill. I'm like, that's okay. I know I can make it. And then I would make it. And I just knew I could believe so much in one thing that it'd lead to other things. And my dad really, really instilled that in us, that you can do anything you put your mind to as long as you believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it. So any girls out there listening who are, often negative or like, oh, I'm so bad at this or that was so horrible. That's the story you're telling yourself. So if you can get in, I mean, it sounds like you just have a habit of expecting things to work out. Like it's like you to come back in 4 weeks from severe ankle sprains. It's like you to win Nostia Cup. It's like you to take Utah to a national championship. It's just sort of how you roll. Like, and that is just the way that's your self-image. That's the way you see yourself. And that is what becomes your reality in life. I mean, there's research that backs up that if you expect yourself to have all these things happen, look at your life. You're a living example of if you are positive and optimistic and you believe in yourself and you're like, yeah, okay, let me try. Can I try now? Life will just like give you what you're looking for.
That's the thing too, is a lot of people will say, I don't know if I want to say that. Like, I don't know if I want to say that I'm going to be a national champion because what if it doesn't happen? I'm like, but what if it does? What if it does? Then you told yourself that and you were believing it. Because if you're not saying it, somebody else is saying it. If we're not saying it as Utah, Oklahoma's saying it to themselves, and they're going to
100%. They're not worried about people thinking that they're cocky.
And it's not being cocky, it's just being confident. That's the thing is, I don't believe that saying that you want to be something or you want to attain something, a national title, it's not being cocky if you say it in the right ways. There are definitely instances where there can be cockiness. But if you say like, I want to be a national champion, that I truly want to be a national champion, I don't find that cocky. And if anybody says that Oklahoma's cocky for saying they want a national championship, I don't think that at all. If LSU wants to say they want to win a national championship, I don't think that's cocky at all. I think if we're not saying it, if you're not saying it yourself, somebody else is going to be saying it and somebody else is going to be getting that national championship. That's how I look at it. And that's how my dad's always said it. If you're not saying it, somebody else is saying it and somebody else is going to get it before you want it. So,
well, and I think that it does hold some people back, this idea that you can't be both confident and kind. But then I would ask everyone listening to think of someone that's both confident and kind. I'm looking at one right now. You are living proof that you can be confident and kind, that you don't have to be a jerk to be confident. You don't have to put people down to be confident. It's really about the relationship you have with yourself and just believing. And if anyone else is going to have their feelings hurt by you believing in yourself, that's not your problem. That's their work to do. That's their therapy. They can sort that out on their own.
yeah.
And I think everyone should have permission to decide that I can have this.
Yeah.
But then also you get in the water walking contraption for 3 hours a day. Like you're not just sitting in a closet saying, I'm going to be national champion.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think it's like people can talk the talk, but do they walk the walk? Do they put the effort in that they want to get a result? Which a lot of those teams that are doing amazing, they do put in the work too. So it's just really who wants it more, I guess. So that's my thoughts about it.
Yeah. And I can tell you want it. So I'm like, I can't wait to see the confetti drop, and to see that cup go home. It's like those images to have, be like, yes, let's go. I'll be there. Sign me up. I'll be clapping in the stands, like create the image and then start walking toward it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask you about your floor fear because a lot of the girls who listen struggle with fear. So what is going on in your mind about floor and how are you working through it?
Yeah. So really Maya's been helping me, my floor coach. I've been getting a little bit like, I wouldn't say I've been avoiding floor, but kind of avoiding floor because I've had a couple weeks off in the summer going on trips and I'm just like, okay, when I come back to floor, like I'm just not feeling normal. Like I just don't feel normal. My body's not feeling normal how it normally does. And so then I kind of freak out and I'm just like, am I going to get hurt because it doesn't feel normal? No, I'm not going to get hurt. I know that. But it's just the initial reaction and the fight or flight mode of me being like, am I going to get hurt again? And it's not even the same skill that I'm doing. And that was a freak accident. I'd never done that in my 8 years of doing the skill. But it's just kind of that PTSD of like, oh my gosh, am I going to get hurt? And so Maya's really been helping me trying to take it each step back at a time. Like, okay. And I'm not a kid to really do like progressions. I love to just do it and get it done. But she's like, you truly need to go back, get confident with the beginning steps of these skills and do them. Start with the 1.5. Start with a front double. Then you can add the punch front once that feels really good. Then you can add the next thing. Then you can add the next thing. then you can have your skill and feel confident in the skill because you did the basics of it. So I've been working on trying to get more confident in just the basics of the skill and more confident in myself with doing the skill, even if I don't feel completely normal doing this skill.
Yes, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, where it's like if your brain senses a threat, which like if you burn yourself on a hot stove, your brain goes, don't touch it. Don't touch it. So if you burn, if you hurt yourself on floor, your brain goes, don't tumble.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's supposed to do that. It's good. We don't walk into oncoming traffic. It's good to have a brain that tells you what's safe and what isn't. But then what I've seen is that like we have this mental blueprint that's built over years of attempts. So, 8 years of doing the skill. You can just say handstand, you do a handstand. You say kip, you do a kip. You do say full out, you do a full out. You don't have to think. And that's by college, you don't want to be like thinking through a full out. That doesn't make any sense. Too fast. But then if you have a little interrupt of like an injury or a doubt, it's almost like that blueprint. If you could imagine it like a bunch of stick figures, like in the code of points, it's like your brain deletes one of the pictures and is like, we don't trust this one anymore. So we're just going to pull it out. And then it's going to feel weird when you do it because there's something missing. And so what you have to do is exactly what you're doing, which is rebuild the blueprint. And in that one little section, like if you were to circle the stick figure, that's the scary part or the risky part. Like you could probably imagine which is. Like, what's the one moment in the tumbling pass that your brain's like, nope, I don't want to do that.
Right when I land.
Yep. So then you're drilling landing other skills, landing and then having that moment of, oh, that was safe. Good. Oh, that felt safe. Oh, that felt safe. That felt safe. That felt safe. You have to have so many safe landings that your brain goes, okay, the stove is not hot. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Off we go. And that's the indicator. If you're having it feels off or it feels weird, it feels scary. If there's a feeling entering the blueprint, it means that there's a missing picture. So you've got to get your technique solid there so that all you do is just go and land.
Yeah.
Kick out, bend, or whatever those like little things are that you do. So that's exactly what I suggest to other people too, is if something feels off, it just means you got to drill. You got to do the thing you don't want to do and do the drills and rebuild and remind your brain that it's safe. Well, good. I'm excited to see you on floor this season with a smile.
Thank you too.
Okay, one last thing before we wrap up. You said that there were times where you were not happy with gymnastics and you wanted to quit. And I look at you as a gymnast and you seem so happy. You just seem so happy, like you love your sport. So what was it that got you through those hard times and back to the love?
Yeah, I mean, I did not like it. I was at a gym where I didn't have a ton of friends too. It was a smaller gym and I loved my coaches and everything. I just didn't really feel like I was being pushed that much. And so I went to Olympus, which that was a big sacrifice for my family too. It was a lot more money at the time and just a lot more of a sacrifice. But my parents sacrificed it for me. And obviously me being 10 years old, I was scared to make new friends. But they were all friends my age. And at my old gym, they were all really older than me, so they were all going to leave anyways. And then once I came to this new gym, they were my friends for 9 years. Like, they are truly my best friends, and they were my age. So then I felt like I truly fit in. And I mean, some people are in gymnastics just for the social aspect, and that's okay too. That's okay, because that's what kind of got me to fall in love with the sport. And sometimes that's what it takes. And I truly had to find my why in the gym every day because there's no purpose if you don't have a why. If you're just going in there every day and you're like, ugh, this is not fun, like, why am I here? If your why is to see your friends, there's your why. If your why is to be a national champion, there's your why. If your why is to learn a skill, just a random skill, there's your why. Once you get that skill, make another goal for yourself, a new skill. Oh, I want to learn this skill. Just creating things about why you're there every day and why you're going to put your best effort in every day, I truly helped me fall in love with this sport, I feel like. And I fell in love with the hard work of it too. Gymnastics is such an amazing sport and teaches so many gymnasts so many life lessons. And I feel like it taught me to be accountable for my mistakes, that when I make personal mistakes, I hold myself accountable for that. It taught me how to work hard, first off, work hard on the things that I'm not gifted at. It's not going to all be given to me. This is a physically type of thing. It's not all going to be given to me. And that can be the same as life. Not everything's going to be handed to me in life. You got to work for things if you want to be successful in life. Number 3, it helped me be dependent on myself. If I'm not dependent on myself, who am I going to be dependent on? It's not going to be my team and club. I mean, in college you can be, but team and club, they're not going to help me get the scores that I need for a personal goal. So help me be dependent on myself. But it also taught me different perspectives, to look at different perspectives. If something doesn't work in my life, if something doesn't work for me, there's another route. There's always another way out. I think you had kind of talked about that at the camp, is if something doesn't work for you, there's always going to be a different route you can try and use. And I feel like it kind of taught me how to look at different perspectives. And yeah, I just think that there's so many different life lessons. It taught me how to show up every day. It's truly a full-time job. And when you're 8 years old, it's like, whoa, this is a lot of hours. And then you do that for 11 years. Once you get into the real world, you've already done full-time jobs for 11 years. Once you get into the real world, it'll be like nothing. Like, oh, I've done this my whole life. It just seems normal. Now I don't have to put my body through pain every day. This is nice. It's just like all these different things that lead me into a good life. And I think about it like I am living a mini life right now. I know this is going to sound really weird, so stay with me. But like I thought of it like when I was 8, that's when I was 18. My life started when I was 18/8, and I've worked for these 11 years. I've worked hard for these 11 years, and this is my end, and this is my retirement in life. When I'm like 50 or 60, whatever is right now, my gymnastics career, and I see how successful I was and how hard I worked for these 11 years. Now I'm only 18. Fast forward, I'm only 18 right now, and my life is going to be starting after college. If I put in the work these next 11 years, even longer in my life, how successful can I be down the road? I can be so successful if I just put my mind to it and I work hard and do the things that I need to. So that's kind of my perspective on how gymnastics has helped me in so many different ways and has taught me so many life lessons.
Well, I think that's like the perfect thing to say to anyone who's like, oh, I got injured, or if I can't reach my goal, what's it worth? Or is it worth all of this if I can't, XYZ? Well, first of all, stop talking like that and just go get your goal. Second of all, oh my gosh, look who you are. But a gymnast, who they are by 18 is different than the average 18-year-old, period.
For
I mean,
sure.
you're like, you can run. I mean, there's so many successful entrepreneurs. There's so many successful business people. If I get a chance to hire a gymnast, I only hire gymnasts,
You
period.
see Leanne Wong, she's one of the hardest workers. She's doing amazing in school. She has her own business. She's doing elite, doing college. She is one of the hardest workers. And maybe she was born that way. I don't know. I don't really know her. But from what I can see is she is one of the hardest workers. And that is a testament of who she is as a person and how successful she's going to be in life.
Yep. And you look at the girls who are those top 5-star recruits, and they're the hardest workers, period.
Exactly.
That's it. Simone Biles, one of the hardest workers in the world.
Hardest workers, yep.
So it doesn't matter if you started late or you're too tall or too old or you're too floppy or you have ADD or whatever. You just get your picture in your mind of you on that billboard and you start walking. Anything is possible. Yes. Well, Avery, can you give any last minute advice for that 12-year-old girl out there who really wants to follow in your footsteps?
Just remember who you are, that you can't ever be somebody else. So if your things, if your skills, if your personality, if your things don't look exactly like anybody else's, that's okay, because that's not how it's supposed to be, first off. So just remember to do you, and remember that not everything you do is going to be like everybody else. Not everything you do is going to be perfect like everybody else. So remember who you are and the things that you want to do and accomplish, and make that your goals in life.
Amazing. Avery, what a gift. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much. It was so good to talk to you.
It was awesome to talk to you. I'm so excited for you to get your confidence all through the roof on floor, and I can't wait to watch you this season. Thank you so much.